No, I'm not. I think okay. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the Uncle Pucker New Jersey Devil podcast. And we got a really fun show for you tonight because our New Jersey Devils, since dropping game one in Carolina, have been red hot, 8 in a row, and they are led by our two awesome superstars. I'm talking about the playmaking, ankle breaking. Can I get some heart consideration for Mr. Jack Hughes and our silky smooth, or should I say silky smooth captain, who has done yeoman's work this year, him and his line, shutting down all of these big guys. This year, we have so much to talk about. Our Devils are rolling, and we're going to dive into it all right now. I hit the wrong button. All right. So, Timmy, I was going to do the intro, but it got screwed up. So we're going to skip the intro and roll right into the show. I'm Chris. You're Tim Wood. What is up, buddy? How psyched are you for this team right now?
We're really good, man. Like I don't even know what to say. Like in my wildest delusions, which sometimes I bring out
We've
on
had
here.
wild ones.
Yeah. I did not expect them to do this. We were whining and complaining about this gauntlet of a schedule and how are we going to get through October. We're not exactly getting through unscathed, but we're banking points. We both said, 14-ish points was going to be a good number for October. And here we are, best team in the league.
16 points. 16 points. And yes, Stephen Engel, we know it's bedtime. I just got off work. I'm sorry for the late start time. But we definitely wanted to get a show in because Tim and I are just fired up. We have to go back, actually, and look at our October predictions because I'm curious where we're at. I have them somewhere. I could probably find them real quick. But yeah, I mean, this has just been fantastic. This team just nothing gets to them. They just keep on going. It doesn't matter. You score first. They score first. You want to play physical. All the bullshit that goes with it. These guys have just been amazing. I cannot.
Yeah, that's a really good kind of point. Is that they're not winning one way in particular. They're winning a lot of different ways. And the further we get away from that Carolina game, the more that game seems like an outlier. Like that's not, what this team is. And I've been, the next blog I'm writing, I just keeps getting longer and longer. And I spent like 2 hours trying to clip videos from fucking YouTube for it because I don't know how to do that. And I wanted to, so I'm writing about the decor and kind of the early returns on Brad Shaw and what we're seeing and stuff like that. And I think the most glaring and clear example of his coaching from an individual basis, not necessarily team or structure or anything like that, is the way that Dougie's playing. He has just been rock solid defensively. Like we were good for one Dougie, like, oh, what are you doing type of play every game. It's just not there. His decisioning is good in all three zones. His shot is back. He's been excellent offensively. His shot's getting through. And defensively, which has always been his issue, in zone has been great. It's just a recommitment to it. And I actually want to read this this quote from Sheldon Keefe on Dougie working with Brad Shaw. All right, you ready?
I'm ready, baby.
His consistency in his play, shift to shift, has been better, Keefe said. I think Brad Shaw spent a lot of time with him. He's been very clear with him in terms of his expectations, and then he's followed that up by giving him a great opportunity. He's been very consistent and regular contributor on our penalty kill. This is where it kind of gets interesting and an interesting way to think about it. He's a regular contributor on our penalty kill. That forces him to be in a defensive mindset, to check, to play hard, to be competitive, to be in a situation where you're shorthanded, to add that level of urgency and desperation that comes with that. I think that just bleeds into the rest of your game, and we've been really happy with Dougie. That is a really interesting way to put that, and I think, Doug, that was one of my bigger concerns coming into this season was, Kovacevic's PK minutes, because, who is going to replace that? Dougie stepped right in and has been great. Just absolutely great. I couldn't be happier. Luke looks like he's taken another step defensively. His escapism has been off the charts this year. He did have a little bit of a boo-boo today, where he got stripped by Landeskog right in the middle of the slot. But that was the first time this entire season so far where it's been like, ooh, what the fuck are you doing, Luke? But his play has been outstanding. Nemec has been a little hit or miss, but I think the last 3 games he's been very good. His last bad game or kind of where he had some issues, where Toronto probably could have picked up a guy in one of the goals against today. But other than that, really can't complain, man. There's really nothing to complain about. Like, I don't know what we're gonna yell and scream and cry about, because there's really fucking nothing.
We're not. That's the beauty of it, right? We're not going to sit here and yell and scream and talk about how fucked up Fitz is and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing and all this bullshit. It was a bit of a Pyrrhic victory today. Let's be honest. We lost Brett Pesce. We don't know the severity. Sorry about that. Don't know the severity of the injury, but that's a huge loss if it's significant amount of time.
Did you just drop Pyrrhic into this? Good job on that. Look at the vocabulary on. Look at the vocab on Chris.
Yeah, and I used it. I used it correctly. So yes, it was a Pyrrhic victory. But yeah, we lost Brett. Now Seamus Casey has been recalled from Utica, so he's going to have to step in. Yep. And the thing is, with this team and the way it's rolling right now, Seamus Casey's got to play the best hockey he's ever played, because you're going to step into this lineup, and this lineup is should not miss a beat, and he's going to be a big part of it. I wanted to ask you something. So I was thinking about this. One of the things I really like about Sheldon Keefe, and, you know, I don't see too many other NHL coaches kind of do this, but at the same time, I don't watch every game. I don't know every team's first and second power plays and penalty kills and all that stuff. So maybe it happens a lot, but it didn't happen when Lindy Ruff was here. And what I mean is, Sheldon Keefe is fine with putting guys in positions that they're not normally comfortable in. Dougie on the penalty kill, Jack on the power play, things like that. And you see it, even Timo on the PK, things that guys like Lindy Ruff weren't doing. And Sheldon Keefe is giving these guys the leash. And I love the mentality of your pro hockey players. And if you're playing in the NHL, you should be able to play in almost every situation out there if you are an upper echelon guy. And I really love, I think that also brings, when the guys go out there and they do those jobs, whether it's a PK or power play, and they're successful in it, then that breeds all this confidence. And you see it, like, you know, every start of penalty kills the last few years, it was Mercer, it was
Mercer, Nico,
and Brett and Dylan. Now it's Glendening, it's Brown, it's Mercer, it's Hischier, it's Hughes, it's Bratt, it's on the back end, it's all of them. Everybody except Luke has played PK, and
no, Luke's been on the PK too.
I haven't seen him too much. And okay, but so
he's got a couple minutes.
But I love that aspect, because when you have a team that you're going to deal with injuries, and you have guys, many of them, that you can plug in to do a job and do it well, I think that just really is the sign of a true team, like a true contending team. And right now, the Devils are. And I honestly think that people need to start paying attention to this team. They're right now first in the NHL. And they, like, I think it was Dubs, wrote about, they're winning in every way possible. And I do think, they're not going to go 81 and win one. Probably.
We sure about that?
Probably not.
Sure? I don't know.
But let's beat that 13-game win streak from a couple of years ago, right? Let's keep it going.
Yeah, and Mike Ruff just said that. I don't know why the usernames are coming through and not their actual names, but he's Exo the Juice Man. But
that's Mike Ruff?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a very good point about what Keefe does, and he notices a skill set or an ability and says, I think this would be a good thing to maybe exploit in a situation where you wouldn't necessarily expect to see them. He did it with Marner on the PK in Toronto. Then you take that and say, hey, that worked. Now that I'm in New Jersey, I have these two guys with a similar skill set. and Jack and Brat, that could work too. I mean, Brat kind of seems like a no brainer because of his quickness and his speed. But since Jack came into the league, we've always said this about him. He's a fucking ninja with his stick. Like he is an absolute thief pickpocket when he's in the offensive zone. One of my favorite things to watch is those two kind of swarming on a forecheck. Not when the other team has the puck, like when they're chasing down defensemen, because you like at any moment they could just pick off a pass or just pickpocket someone and get the puck back. They're just such good skaters, good stick work, get in lanes, get in zones, and it just rounds out these players, and I think everybody kind of looks at a coach and thinks tactics and stuff like that. And that's not really what an NHL coach does. A lot of what an NHL coach does is that sort of motivation and putting players in positions to succeed. And I think that's really where Keefe excels.
Yeah. I mean, very good points. He definitely, I love what he's done with this team this year so far. And Mike Ruff wrote about Palat here that the Palat's stick is where offense goes to die. That is an absolute fact. It's kind of sad to see. But yeah, if there was one thing, if we felt the need that we have to bitch about something, and I can't even bitch that much. All I'm going to say about Palat is we said it last show and we'll continue to say it because it still stands to be true. That is an upgradable spot. Mm-hmm. That's something, if you really want to make some moves and get this team maybe to another level, then that's a spot that needs to be upgraded at some point this year.
So I don't know what these numbers actually look like, but when you watch Jack and Brat in the offensive zone, they work off each other and feed off each other so well that I don't know what the third person on that line should actually look like. I like the idea of this, does the little things, gets, wins the board battles and wins the puck battles and sits in front of the net. Palat's, he's fine at that. The plays do die on his stick. I get it. He has 1 assist this year. I mean, Brendan Dillon has 4 points and Palat has 1 point. But we're 8-1. So who gives a fuck? Like Jack is what, 8 goals and he's scoring enough for both of them. But my larger point is, and remember, they tried this with Jack, Brat, and Timo, and it just was a disaster. And Timo suffered. It's like those two are so puck dominant with each other and playing off each other that I don't know what that third person on that third line. It's not a video game. We're not going to get.
Well, maybe
Jason
that's
Robertson or a McCann, plug them in there, and it's going to be magic.
That's not what I want.
Well, I think that's what the intention was with Dadonov.
Yes,
because he's such a smart player and such a cerebral player that he knows what he should be doing and where he should be going, and doesn't need. There's another thing, like if you're getting a lot of puck touches, like that just helps you and helps your confidence, and I feel like that may be an issue for Palat. I don't know, but with Dadonov, he was good enough to be able to get to those spots. We just don't know if he's actually a real person because he's dead.
Maybe it is Dadonov still. I mean, it's very possible. We don't know when he's coming back, but maybe it is. And again, if they keep on producing the way they are, I don't give a shit if it's Palat or whatever. But when you see like opportunities that should be in the net and Palat just whiffs on them or just doesn't get his stick on them or whatever, that's the only thing that I get myself concerned about. Like, can we get somebody that, of course, does the little things, can skate with Jack and Brat, but be a better finisher when the opportunity comes? It could be Dadonov, maybe it's somebody, and again, maybe it's just those two. Maybe it doesn't matter who you plug in there. Very well, they're hard to play with. Maybe it's just you need a veteran presence out there to kind of clear out the front of the net, draw a little bit of attention to you. That Palat's going to be in the right spot, and let those two just go to work.
Maybe and I we could go back and watch each individual goal and just be like, that goal was created because Palat did that. One of Jack's goals against Toronto was because Palat was was just sitting in front of the net, and screening the goal. That's a job. That's a job for that line. I don't know what the answer is, but like now Mike Ruff got us off on this fucking tangent about bitching about something. But I want nothing more. I want our guys to be good. Like I want us to be looking at stuff at the deadline and be like, what do we need? Is it anything? Like, are we good? Like there very rarely does, and this is something that's been sitting in the back of my mind too, is very rarely does a trade deadline acquisition push a team over the top. Like the last year, I mean, Martian and like that big top 6 trade deadline acquisition. Like look at Brock Nelson. That was supposed to put the Avalanche over the top, and it didn't. Like Florida got 2 guys that they plugged into their third line and probably was like their number 4 defenseman. And that's what worked. It's always that kind of middle of the lineup, down the lineup guys that you get at the deadline that really push you over the top.
If you're a cup contending team and you're going out there to on trade deadline day and looking for a 1C or a top 6, winger, even a top 6 centerman, whatever, like you're not a contender then. Like this team right now, if Tom Fitzgerald injuries aside, we're talking about a healthy team. If Fitzgerald decides to make a move, it most likely, it could be somebody in that winger spot with Jack. But I do think that Dadonov is going to get that spot, and between him and Palat, I think that's what's going to be this year. I think then it's going to be a gritty guy that you can throw in that bottom 6 that, like Marchand did with Florida, but of course not Marchand. And I think that's basically what we're going to be looking for. I mean, I just think right now.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what the answer is? And
Jared McCann?
No, honestly, it's Dawson Mercer. The way Gritsik, Timo and Nico were playing together. Once Glass comes back, put Dawson Mercer there. Then Palat goes to that third line left wing, and then you have that Palat Glass Brown line, like it was back.
Where's Gritsik now?
He's with Nico and Timo. He stays up top.
So Mercer, you're putting where?
Jack and Bratt.
Mercer with Jack and Bratt. Okay.
Yeah, Mercer and Jack have really good chemistry. And Mercer's got that skill set. By the way, Mercer, I think up until today, I don't know if he had any points today. Mercer's at point per game pace.
Point per game right now, yep.
So Mercer's got that kind of skill set where he's a pretty good finisher. He's got good hands around the net. And just there's been an evolution of him in his game where suddenly he's not getting fucking pigeon tossed every goddamn game.
He hit the gym. I mean, the guy definitely even looks bigger. You can tell when he's sitting there just doing his interviews and stuff. He put on some size. He's filling out, and that can only help him. Dawson Mercer has been, in my opinion, so far this year, the biggest happy surprise that I have seen with this team. It's like, it's about time. Like we saw it 2 years ago.
I hate shitting on him. Like we were shitting on him for 2 years, but not like he's been objectively great this year.
And if you could put together Mercer, Jack, and Bratt, I mean, you wouldn't lose anything. That's for sure. No. So I'm totally cool with that. But I do want to touch on also Arseny Gritsik. And back when so I think the Toronto game was the first game that he was put up with Nico and Timo. Or it could have been Minnesota.
I forgot
one of those games.
Yeah.
And sure. you had sent me the Amanda Stein interview with him in the dressing room post game, and he was asked what do you feel when he saw the lineup and that he was up there with Nico and Timo. Now, I was expecting I've been working hard, to get my opportunity on a top line, all that crap. Like he said, I knew right away when I saw that I had to play the best defensive game that I've played in this league so far, that I have to be right there with those 2 dudes and make sure that I'm not the reason that Connor McDavid runs all over us. And I'm not the reason that McKinnon and Kucherov and all those other guys. And he fucking That right there showed me more about this kid than anything that he's done on the ice. Not
Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
No, I was just going to say the fact that he's so coachable, he's so eager to learn, and is willing to accept any role. And the offense then will come, but he has done such a great job. I was expecting this kid from the KHL with amazing skill, but no interest whatsoever in defense. That was going to be a work in progress. And that's why we had said, or at least I did, I don't want to speak for you, back in the summer, like, he probably should start in that bottom six because there's going to be some defensive lapses. I don't see any in his game. The kid works his ass off, and like the fact that he's that coachable, he's going to be a huge part in this team going forward. And I can't wait to see where his game is come playoff time.
Jack said as much in his post-game interview today. Said Grits is gonna be, I hope, a long-term piece of this core of this team.
That's fantastic.
You know, the point that you made, and it's a good one that I could say in a different way, is that for him to have the intelligence and understanding to be like, I'm getting this opportunity to play with Nico, but I also understand what that means for what I'm going to be playing against. You know, to understand that my deployment is also offensive and defensive. Like if he was, you know, getting put with Jack, you know, maybe that's a little bit different of a sign. But the fact that Keefe trusts him enough, and Keefe even said this, like he's just such a well-rounded player, which is true. I mean, I couldn't be happier with how he's looked so far this year. I mean, it's just like what are we? There's nothing to complain about except for injuries. But okay, so more with Gritsuk. So what I'm, you know, everybody talked about his shot, right? And we've talked at length about his playmaking, which has been surprising and probably was a little bit underreported. Today, really, I think showed off his shot a lot. Today was, I think, his best game. He was active. He was everywhere. He wins battles, but he also wins battles on second and third efforts. So like he'll get beaten by a guy and then he'll go lift a stick or, you know, chase the guy down and win the battle. So the goal he scored, you know, he won a battle on the boards right at the top of the blue line. That was just an absolute dogfight. Got it to Timo, and he was on the ground tangled up with that guy. He got back up, skated to the slot, got the pass from Timo, and his shot is so fucking ridiculous. Like his ability to just get it off and get it on net as quickly as he does, with as much velocity as he gets it on, with as much force as he gets it on, with the location that he puts it in is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I could not be more thrilled with how well this kid has turned out.
And now, so Tuesday, they're heading out west now. We got Colorado again on Tuesday night. And then I think Thursday is the San Jose. That finishes up October. And then I think two more games out west. I think it's Anaheim and LA, not in that order. But I wanted to ask you, Tim, when you when you're done with
Sorry, I just had to close my door.
No, it's all good. About some other teams right now in the NHL.
Well, can we talk about Casey first?
Yes, let's talk about Casey because he's going to have his hands full coming up. How did you feel about him being the guy brought up?
It's just, you know, Brett's been our best defenseman, you know, both ways. And you know, this blog I'm writing about the D-Corps, just parsing out some of the numbers, like Pesci and Luke are in the conversation for best pair in the NHL based on some of their metrics and kind of just the way they look and operate together. Like offensively and defensively, they're in like top 5, top 10 on almost every single category. The only other pair that's like that or even like in the realm is Makar and Taves.
Right.
So losing Brett's a huge blow. We just don't have another guy like him, a guy that fucking eats pucks, PKs, that just like sells out and is a good mentor for Luke. I don't know what they're going to do with their pairings, but what I think might happen is you put Casey with Siegenthaler to protect him a little bit. Leave Nemec and Dillon alone. And then you put Dougie with Luke. You know, with the way Dougie's defensive game has been this year, if he's going to continue to kind of build from that PK out, and be responsible defensively, that's the best proxy I think we can find to replicate Brett's game. I know it's not going to be exact. There's probably going to be some fuck ups, but the two the two, oh, sorry, I was just reading what Mycroft said. The two of them together can be absolutely electric. Like, we can just be in the offensive zone and just fucking never give the puck back. But defensively, hopefully they can sort that out. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't know. They might just throw Casey with Luke. I really don't know.
I really like Seamus Casey. I do like his game a ton. I think I'm with you. I think he probably should be with Dougie to start. I'm cool with that. I'm even, I don't see him logging a ton of minutes to start. I think that the rest of the boys are going to be the ones really logging the minutes. But I like Seamus Casey a lot. I think he brings the offense. You know what he brings. If you would have asked me any defenseman that I didn't want to go down, I would have said Pesci, because he's just that steady guy there all the time, night in and night out. So this sucks. And hopefully it's not a long, he's not going to be out very long.
Yeah.
We know nothing, right? We know
the good news
about this injury.
Well, it was kind of a weird play. It looks like he caught a shot, like kind of like in his wrist or something like that. I don't know what his protection looks like in that area. So if I were to say anything, I don't know, the quotes afterwards, even Brett Pesci's dad on Twitter, who's usually like, when people tweet at him and they're like, geez, I hope Brett's okay, he's like, he usually responds like, he's fine. Even when it looks like he got run over by a fucking train, he's
What
like,
did he
Brian
say
Pesci's
now?
like, he's fine. Today he was like, I don't know. Which isn't good. But I mean, he's just watching the game. It's just more of like, he knows his son. But I couldn't agree more that of all of the guys to lose, probably losing Brett and or Siegenthaler are the biggest kind of blows. But look, we have Colorado, then what is it? San Jose, Anaheim,
then LA,
then
Anaheim.
So 3 of those 4 games are against teams. Fuck, all 4 of those games are against teams that were better than. But Colorado's a real test. The other 3, I think there are deployment things you can do to kind of mitigate and protect Casey and kind of give him some shittier players to play against.
Well, the thing is, you're playing those 2 teams in California there, those young teams in San Jose and Anaheim, that, you can't take a shift off against these guys. Like, they are so, like, I love what San Jose is building there. And once they fill in the rest of those pieces, especially the blue line, those forwards that they have are amazing. But I'm saying, yes,
well, they have like 2 lines. Ryan Reeves gets a regular shift.
Yeah, no,
and guess who has? By the way, Ryan Reeves has more goals than Connor McDavid.
That's crazy. They're really fun to watch, and I'm really looking forward to Anaheim too, because I like a lot of those kids there.
I do too. Anaheim's been a frisky team to start.
Yes, so these are not the Anaheim San Jose games of a couple of years ago where you can just try to pencil in 2 points. Didn't always work out with us. But LA is beatable. Colorado is going to be looking for revenge at home, and we're probably going to get Scott Wedgwood. Anytime we go up against one of our old goalies, we know that they just give us the fits. So hopefully Tuesday, but I think this team right now is feeling good, and they just, I don't know if they're even a loss. Like, I don't worry about this team having a lull where they're losing 3-4 in a row. And I think almost every team does it, but these guys just, I think they'll be able to bounce right back as long as the injuries are there, aren't there. So this is a huge game on Tuesday, and if they get those 2 points on Tuesday against Colorado, they're just going to be feeling fucking great.
That's like it's a huge game, because if they lose that game, then that's a vibe killer for a road trip. But yeah, we'll see how it works. Casey's just one guy, Brett's just one guy. They're playing a third of the game tops. Like, we'll have Nemec step into that role a little bit. Like, he's gotten better. He played, he played 23 minutes tonight, 3 assists, and 2 fucking great assists. So,
anytime Nemec has had more responsibility thrust upon him, he's been fantastic with it.
Yeah.
The playoffs last year, I kind of look at it now. He's going to be looked to step up and play a better game. And I think he's fully capable of it. He's still young. He's going to have his brain farts here and there. Just hope that they don't end up in the back of the net. I mean, we're kind of over that hump now, right? Because remember,
Yeah.
2 years ago, right, we got rid of Graves and Severson, and we were just running with Nemec and Luke, and it was, oh my God, just watching those growing pains in real time was painful.
It's taken 2 years, I think. And again, it's early this season for them to kind of hit on the right mix of players. So the veterans and youth and particularly defensively, and every year we've kind of had this problem crop up that just wasn't addressed or addressable. Like you can't just swap out 6 guys in the middle of the season. It's
No,
just not something that happens in
no.
hockey. The goalie thing, who knows what happened there. But Nemec and Dillon have some hilarious, like, I mean, they're getting scored on, but they're also scoring a lot while they're on the ice. It's pretty funny. So let me just read this to you for really quickly. So all their defensive numbers, their expected goals against, their shots against, their shot attempt against are pretty normal. Like they're basically kind of right in the same range. And they actually have, of the 3 pairs, they actually have the lowest expected goals against per 60. Their on ice save percentage, so the goalie save percentage when they're on the ice, is .833. And their on ice, when they're on the ice, our shooting percentage is 20%.
So we just play our worst hockey when they're out there.
It's chaos. Like the number, like the chances and the shots against and all that stuff, all that shit's normal. It's just stuff's going in this way and stuff's going in that way. And it's just weird. The funniest fucking thing. Like Dougie and Jonas have been on the ice for and against for 4 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Pesci and Luke have been on the ice for 3 goals for and 2 goals against. Dillon and Nemec have been on the ice for 9 goals for and 7 goals against. It's just it's crazy. But like stuff like it's like Tavares batted out of midair, Lazar scoring with a second left. It's just like they're always on the, like Taylor Hall, the first goal of the year, that random deflection that Nemec and Dillon were on the ice. It's just like they just can't seem to avoid the puck going in one way or the other.
Yeah,
but they're on the positive side of the ledger.
Maybe we do need to break them up. No, wait, no, you wanted those 2 together, right?
And then those 2 stay together. Yeah, I think
they stay together.
I think Siegs and Casey.
Yep, I like that.
Dougie and Luke, and then Dillon and Nemec stay together. Okay. That's what I would think. So you want to talk about other teams?
Well, one other guy I do want to just give flowers to before we move on to is Connor Brown.
Oh my God, this guy's the best.
I like, holy shit, what an amazing addition this dude has been. And he brings an element that I didn't necessarily realize this team needed. We always talked about, bottom 6 scoring and stuff, but just who he is, his personality, how he plays, the guy's fantastic. Like, what a super awesome pickup, not only from Fitz, but the fact that he chose us, which is awesome. I am a huge Connor Brown fan.
Yeah, like just the perfect guy for the perfect deployment, for like the perfect team at the perfect moment at the perfect spot in his career. Like, I don't think he's going to score 30 goals, but what if he does? Like he was a scorer in junior and he had a bad ACL tear, and now he's just like, last playoffs was him finally kind of being back to himself, and he had a great playoff. And now suddenly, with him being in a consistent role in a place he likes, the people he likes, being the best looking ginger in all of New Jersey, like I could not be more thrilled with this guy. His penalty killing, his defensive acumen, his speed, his just north-south, just Canadianness is just perfect for this team.
And he has finish. The man can finish.
The man can score goals. He can score fucking goals. Like I think he's our Conn Smythe leader right now. Hang on.
I mean, that's again a guy like you're seeing it in Connor Brown. Like that's a guy that you win in the playoffs because of. And
Mhm.
we didn't have dudes like that. Like Nate Bastion wasn't going to be that guy, and Connor Brown is. I fucking could not be happier with him.
Like with his goal tonight, he was stride for stride, and his goal tonight, remind you, Nemec saw it happen, floated the puck
Yep.
perfectly up the middle for him to skate into it. He was started from the same place as the defenseman and was 2 strides past him when he got the puck. His straight line speed is outrageous. What does he have? He's 5 goals, 1 assist. He's our Cy Young. Well, actually, Jack's 8-4, which is hilarious too.
Jack needs to start getting. If this keeps up in another couple of weeks, people better start talking about him in the MVP conversation.
I mean,
because
he's on a 70-ish goal pace. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Yep,
we talked
and
about this over the summer of potential 50-goal scorers, and there he is.
when he is healthy and on, he is one of the best players in the world. And I have to say that we've played so far now, and I'm probably going to forget a few guys, right? So like, Austin Matthews, McDavid, Draisaitl.
Oh, I got him right here. So I'm talking about
Kucherov.
talking
Okay.
about because part of this blog that I'm writing, Dougie and Siegenthaler have been getting those matchups along with Nico.
Right.
So Carolina, it was Ehlers and Aho.
Yep.
They had about 5 minutes of 5-on-5 time. Hagel, Kucherov, Point, about 6-7 minutes of 5-on-5 time. Columbus, it was Voronkov, Monahan, Marchenko.
Right.
They had over 8 minutes of time against them. Florida, Verhaeghe, Reinhart, and Bennett, over 6 minutes of time with them. The Oilers, they both had Draisaitl, while Nico, Brett, and Luke got McDavid. For the Leafs, it was Matthews and Nyes. For the Wild, it was Kaprizov and Boldy. And then for the Sharks, it was Celebrini and Smith. And then tonight it was McKinnon. Not only are the teams gauntlets, that is an absolute gauntlet of guys to play against.
And
between them, they had 350 plus goals and over 900 points last year.
the guys you just rattled off are some of the greatest players in the friggin' world. And not once at any of the games that we played, I'll take away the Carolina game, throw that out. But the last 8 games, not one time has Jack and Brat not been the best players on the ice at any given moment. And that's some serious shit. We said it after the Edmonton game, and they just keep on doing it. Like, I know that McKinnon had a goal today, but Jack had 2. So
Matthews didn't do shit. Jack had a hat trick. I mean, again, we go back to like that Carolina game was the outlier. That was a game that I think we just kind of throw away. We use as motivation for when we play them later in the season. That is not this team. Every single number that I'm looking at them with and without that Carolina game. I mean, look, it's kind of easy because it's an 8-game winning streak, and when you're winning, you're probably doing stuff right. But it's just been an incredible run. But they can't let up.
It's a nice segue because Carolina lost today to Dallas. The
Rangers are getting fucking bullied out of the building by a bunch of ex-Devils.
All right, so that's the team I really want to talk about. So this guy that is always in my bar, he's a big Ranger fan. We talk all the time.
Poor fellow.
He called me over yesterday, and he's like, "I'm fucking pissed at you." I'm like, "You're mad at me?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fucking pissed." I'm like, "Why?" "Because I told you the Rangers were going to suck early this summer." He goes, "Yeah, and that you're fucking right." Well, yeah. So they went into the worst team in the league in Calgary, went into their barn, and I think they lost 4-1. I think that was the final.
I think that's what it was when I turned it off. But Coleman scored, Ball scored,
Sharangovich scored. Yeah, it was all former Devils. So now that they went into Calgary and lost that game badly, are the Rangers the worst team in the league right now? I believe they are. Tell me who is worse.
Well, good thing I have NHL.com up.
I mean, Calgary and San Jose are probably
Calgary's pretty fucking bad.
Right. Calgary and San Jose both beat them. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think they're the worst team in
St.
the league
Louis
right
is bad.
Now.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom 5 are the Rangers, the Wild, the Blues, the Sharks, and the Flames.
Yep.
Bruins are bad. Tampa Bay's won a couple. Oh, we're getting a turbo sighting?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I muted my mic. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
No, he's just whining at the stairs. He wants to go up, but we're gonna wrap up in a few minutes
I'm
anyway.
just looking
So
at the beautiful standings. Do you know what would be awesome? It would be awesome. The best team in the East are the Devils. The best team in the West is Utah. That would be just an absolutely electric Stanley Cup final. Nobody would watch it because nobody gives a fuck except for us and the people in Utah. And if they won in Utah, they'd have to go to Vegas unless they find some Mormon wives to throw around. I don't know what Chris is going to do. So we got Nico overtime saying Rangers play Carolina when they return home from their trip. Just the Rangers are a bad team. They're just a bad team. You know, I saw something funny today where it's like they traded JT Miller right before he hit his prime, and then they brought him back right after his prime. They just stink. Like you get kicked out of Rogers Arena yelling at Rags fans. Attaboy. Don't do anything too stupid. But they're just so bad. You know, I watched a little bit of that game just for like a fun little hate watch, and just watching Mika Zibanejad labor through the neutral zone trying to carry the puck and seeing that relative to Jack is just such it's just such the juxtaposition is so funny. He just carried it into the zone, lost it in the corner, was just like, I'm not going to get it. It was pretty bad. So the Rangers fucking suck, yes.
yeah, they do. Sorry about that. The dog
Sorry.
just decided he was crying at the stairs. I didn't realize my son was home and he was upstairs, and then so he knocked the gate down and of course ran upstairs and
There you go.
ate the
Oh, you
cat food.
see Jax, say hi.
And Jax is good. He's just chilling. The puppy's a
Good
pain
talk.
in the ass.
Well, so my big issue today is my other dog Marshall. He's part hound and he likes to go walkabout and just disappears. And when he disappears, it's not great because it's a lot of places that he could be.
Right.
So I don't know if I sent you the picture of him gnawing on the
yeah, the deer leg.
It was a hind leg of a deer that one of the hunters around here had cut the leg off and just kind of left it. So I actually was like about to clean it up, but I was like, you know what? Like if I leave this here, he'll come back to it. So like it'll be a place for him to come back to. But
You know where he is.
But our driveway is about half a mile long, and at the end of the driveway, it's a really busy street. People go, well, not busy, but like it's a fast road. People go 45,
Right.
50 miles an hour on it. It's like a little kind of rural road. I found him across that street at these horse stables playing with the horses. And I'm just like, buddy, and it's 2 days in a row I found him. And I've kind of figured out that they harvested all the crops a couple of weeks ago. And once the crops came down, that was kind of like an artificial fence of sorts that kept him in. And now that they're down, he's just wandering around everywhere. He's like, holy shit, there's this whole world out there. He also goes down to my neighbor Chubb's house and just hangs out with that motherfucker.
Yeah,
They're just like sitting around drinking beers on like a Tuesday afternoon.
Crossing that road though, that's scary.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. It's just like I'm looking into, and if any of you guys have a dog that does this, Mike Ruff, actually, I know you train dogs. If you have a recommendation for like a tracker that isn't like $1,000 a month of like $1,000 a month subscription to track them, where I can like set a geo fence with like Find My iPhone, please let me know, because it's making me nervous. I know I'm like I don't want to pick up his carcass on the road.
What about like just an invisible fence in the front? Or wherever the road is on its front, I'm guessing, right? Like, why not invisible? I mean, I guess it's so big, though, right?
It's so big, like it's 50 acres is our land, and like the property, like the farm field, is continuous into other. That's why like we lease it out to the local farming mafia. So like it's like continuous farm field. So like our property shares farm field with another farm that someone else owns,
right?
And they lease that out. So like we could put an invisible fence in, but like just the distance that it would have to be to put it around the property line. But there's also like the yard and the mobile yard, which is also its own 7-acre thing. It's just too big to do. But what I ideally want to do is get a tracker that's like almost like a Find My iPhone that'll have a map on my phone, and I could set a geofence that'll get an alert when he crosses the line, so I know where he is at least. Like, because I
There
don't
you go.
want to like keep him in the house and keep him fenced in. So
No.
thank you, Mike. Please, yes, talk to the better half.
Him in. All
Seriously,
right.
he's like, I need to be free. I need to be free.
He does.
All right,
The
so
Rangers suck. I think we covered that, right?
Rangers stink.
And now I left when we were talking, are they the worst team in the league? I'm going to say that they are.
Sure, yeah, let's go. They
Okay.
they have their vibes are absolutely fucking rancid right now.
Terrible.
Like I am here for it. I cannot.
I mean,
I'm so
I said
excited.
it. I thought that JT Miller being captain was a mistake. I still
did too.
think it is a mistake. He doesn't have the demeanor or the personality to get the best out of his players. He will go into that locker room and he will shit talk people and he will badmouth them, and they're not going to want to play hard for him. But when it comes to the Rags, which I love talking shit about them, but what are their options? Like, to me, there's only two options, and the first option is what does that say? Valley still turning around. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that
there's a fucking dick for you, Valley.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that are still like, I still have the Rangers making the playoffs. Like, they're not making the playoffs. The Metro right now is playing way too good. There's just teams that you watch them. Every team is better than them, in my opinion. But like, where do you go? You have Shesterkin. Great. You got one of the best goalies in the world, and you don't have a whole lot more after that. You have three big name guys on the roster in Miller, Zibanejad, and Panarin. You're not getting rid of Miller because you just traded for him, and
Miller and Zibanejad are signed through 2030 and have like
Yes.
ironclad trade movement.
Now
Panarin's a free agent, so maybe you let him go, but he's their best player and like kind of only their only game breaking forward.
But that's
they've like and the rest of their guys are just like these like middle six, bottom six plugs. Like they're all excited about Laba and Ottman and Coily or whatever his name is, and they're all just like third liners.
Which makes me think that Igor Shesterkin does not suck. He's on a really bad team. Igor's a great goalie. I have no issues with Igor Shesterkin.
Mike hates Igor.
I'm not a fan of the man, but I'm going to give him credit where it's due.
I mean, he's the only reason that they're not winless.
Exactly. So so you have to either tear it down, and by like trading and getting rid of those three guys, you're not going to get rid of Miller. So I don't know what their prospect pool is, but with the young guys that they have on this team right now, I'm guessing not very good because there's nobody good up here.
They have no prospect pool. They continue to shit the bed with development. Lafreniere is a fucking joke of
he's a bust.
First overall pick. Like absolute bust.
Complete bust. And so where do you go? You have to tear it down at some point. Like, I mean, I'm fine with them just running their old guys into the ground and then winning, 20.
Oh yeah, like if I were Drury, it's like, you don't re-sign Panarin, or trade him if you're not going anywhere, you trade him at the deadline for like a first next year and like a whole bunch of assets. You get rid of that. I don't think Miller and Zibanejad are going anywhere. Can you unload Lafreniere for something reasonable? What is that? More picks? Like that would be the thing. It's like you rebuild with like Igor, Miller, and Zibanejad. They're not going to be thrilled about that, and they're going to want out too. Are we going to be talking about Igor Shesterkin on the trade market at some point? Because I would jump all over him if I were the fucking Devils.
I believe we are. I think that maybe Big Mike might be our Igor. So I'm kind of hoping that that's the case.
I hope so. It's just how far away is he? And what's the sort of stopgap? And honestly, so I'm guessing Allen gets this next start against Colorado. Like so Dawes is down. They sent Dawes down, and Markstrom's back. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things cheaper than Igor. I don't understand. So Dawes is down. So Markstrom's back. Yep. I'm assuming Allen gets this second start in Colorado, and Markstrom gets eased back in with the next game.
You think so? I was assuming that Markey would play Tuesday, but
I that's what I would do if I were the coach. I wouldn't give I mean, Allen's playing too well, and there's no reason for him to not start another game. It's a couple days off in between. Today was an afternoon game. They're already in Colorado.
He played great today. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
But
played great today. He's absolutely killing it. He's top 10 in goal save above expected. I don't see any reason why they would upset this apple cart. And quite frankly, and I said this before, it's just like Markstrom, like the thing about Markstrom was that he makes incredible high danger, what the fuck type saves. And that was better fit for Lindy Ruff's system. For Keefe's system, which is bend but don't break, keep stuff to the outside, low danger shots, that benefits Allen more. And that's actually Markstrom's biggest weakness, is those seeing eye shots from the point. So I don't know, man. I do not think we should really seriously be considering an extension. I mean, I know they're talking about it, it's gonna happen.
I don't think it is.
That's gonna happen. They're gonna
I-
extend him.
I don't, because of what you just said, and I agree with what you just said. I completely agree. I will never complain when Jake Allen is in net for us, because he's just been fantastic.
It just feels. I'm just so much more comfortable with him in there. Like
now, I will give Mark. I like Markey, but Markstrom is also that, Markey has to get a ton of reps, and that's when Markey starts getting into the. And Allen is the guy that cannot see his shot all second period and come up with huge save on a breakaway in the third when he's ice cold. Markstrom, is not that guy. I agree with what you're saying, and that's why I don't think they're going to extend him. And I wouldn't be shocked if this continues. If Markey struggles, I don't think Keefe's going to have an issue whatsoever of making Allen the number one.
I don't think so either. But I think he's getting extended. I think the train is down the tracks on that. These old hockey guy GMs. They don't think as ruthlessly as fans do. They like great in the room, and he wins games and that type of shit. And, like they don't look at like. We look from the outside in and say like he gives up too many soft goals, and meanwhile the team is like, well, that wasn't really a soft goal because there are like 8 mistakes that led up to it.
Do you think that Tom Fitzgerald doesn't see Jake Allen as a true number one goalie?
Well, I don't know if he is. That's the thing, and that's why I because he's not exactly fucking. I mean, he's collecting AARP too. He's hitting, and he's getting the blue plate special at the diner also.
The big reason why I would think that Markey gets signed, I personally am not sure it's going to happen, but if he does, the logic behind signing him to an extension would have to be, well, if we don't have Markstrom, then Jake Allen is our number one and Nico Daws is our backup next year. I'm not 100% sure that they're very comfortable with that. Now,
I don't know if it's Nico Daws.
Okay, that's where I was going. If it's not Nico, it's Melik, right?
Yeah, although Utica sucks right now. I haven't seen how Melik's been doing.
What is going on with Mike? Is Yegorov only this year in Boston? Is he done? Mm-hmm. Is he back next year?
I don't know. College goalies, I think a lot of them do stay for that third year. I think Hellebuck did that. I think Ottinger did that. Did Ottinger go to college? I think he did, yeah.
So Ruff is saying Allen at 1.8 and Yegorov entry level. So Ruff, you're saying next year you would that Mike would, you think Mike's going to be on this team, or at least at camp?
I think they're going to put him in the AHL.
I think he should be. I think he probably should
until he just shouldn't be there anymore. Like,
okay,
they're not going to just bring him into the NHL. That just doesn't happen. Again, it goes back to this old hockey GM thought process, of we have experienced veterans, rah, rah, rah.
Yegorov is going to be the only reason why Markstrom might not get the extension, is my belief. And that's where I was going with this. I didn't know, but apparently he's going to be in camp next year. So that could be huge, because I think this kid is going to end up being the future. Yeah, so Marty's too old, man. He's just fat, sitting up in the press box.
I had that joke in my coming too.
I got
I
a
don't know what
little,
they're gonna do, but look, he pulled a rabbit out of his hat with the Allen extension.
yeah.
Maybe he does something similar with Markstrom. You know, they're talking. Markstrom was asking for 5, and he wants, or we offered 5 or something like that, and he wants north of that. That's, I don't know. I don't like
Well,
that, but the cap's going up. You know, we still have an extraordinary efficiency in goal from a contract perspective. So we'll see what happens. It's not the end of the world if it's Allen and Markstrom, but it's getting to the end of the world. Like,
it's going to be so exciting. I'm so curious to see who is the goalie in net when we're hoisting the cup in June. Who is that going to be this year? Is it going to be Allen? Is it going to be who's going to get that game?
Jeremy Brodeur.
Right? I mean, might as well. I got a little zipper burn the first time I saw him. I saw him in net in the preseason. I think it was last year, and I got a little zipper burn when I saw Brodeur in net again. They should take his dad's number off the rafters just for him.
Just give him 30.
Let
Just
him
give
wear
him 29 like his original
yeah, he
training
is.
camp
I was
number.
saying, yeah, he wore it his rookie year. Yeah. Anything else, Tim, that you want to talk about on this
we're
wonderful
rolling.
Sunday night?
I'm out of town for a couple days, so all of you guys, I will miss you until I'm back on Thursday.
Well, you're gonna be up in my neck of the woods, right?
Yes, I will be. I have a big my agency does like a big day with like all of our big partners and stuff and clients coming to town. It's like a huge all day conference on Tuesday, but tomorrow night we're going out to dinner with them and I have to shake hands and kiss babies. So I'm actually going to miss the Avalanche game on Tuesday night. I'm
I
going
was
to
just
miss the
going to ask you,
Frozen
you're
Frenzy.
not going to be back at the hotel for the Frozen Frenzy?
No, we're going out afterwards with everybody. I mean, I'll probably like this one dude that I work with is like a huge Devils fan. So I told him I write and I'm a podcaster for them. So he's been listening to us. So what's up, Connor? Yeah, man, it'll
All
be
right.
fun.
Well,
It'll be good. I don't know. Maybe if we beat the Avalanche, I'll call in drunk Tim from a bar or something like that.
well, we're probably going to be recording before the Avalanche game. It's a 9:00 start, so there's no way we're going to be hopping on at like 11:30 to do a show.
Pussies.
So yeah,
Pussies.
basically. So
Bunch of old men.
yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I think the conference ends at like 5, so I will be out at a bar at that point. Maybe I'll call in at some point.
Yeah, I'll text you when we're going on because we're probably going to go on around between 5 and 6 anyway. Frozen Frenzy starts at 6, and then we have legitimate hockey to watch from 6:00 at night Tuesday till 2 a.m. on Wednesday, which should be every night of the week, in my opinion. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, thank you so much again for hanging out with us. Sorry that we came on so late, but we had to get a show in because this is just a super fun ride. Hit the like and subscribe buttons on the YouTube channel. If you're watching, if you're listening to us rather on podcast, please give us a like, a 5-star review, positive comment. It truly does help the little podcast that could. His name is Tim Wood. You can find Mr. Tim on All About the Jersey. I'm Chris. You can find me here on the Uncle Puckers. We'll see you when we see you.
Suck a dick, Valley.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Disease. How fucked up was that?
Bob's gay?